Welcome to day 23 of There's No Christmas Without the Cross. Many years ago, gosh, I think Tyler was a baby, and it was Christmas time, and I went to another church. It wasn't Old Stone. It was a church that I didn't regularly attend. I don't know what church it was. I can see the front of the church. I don't remember what happened at the service, but I remember this one moment. And there was a manger set up. There was a manger, and then or kind of the stall, and then there was a manger inside of that, and it was just there the whole time. They didn't do anything with it during the service, and I thought it was just like set up for Christmas Eve or something, and really didn't think anything of it. But before we sang the final hymn, a man walks down between the aisles, and he's got his hammer and his saw, and just a construction guy, and he just walks down and he just starts working on all the wood that's up there. And in a very short amount of time, he made a cross, a big old heavy cross, and carried it out on his shoulder. I don't remember what song we sang after that. I don't remember much else, but that moment left such an impression on me. It was so compelling. We have to remember the purpose of the cradle was to carry the cross. And that was such a beautiful way to depict that. Today, our reading is from Psalm 22, verses 1 and 2. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me? So far from my cry of anguish. My God, I cry out by day, but you don't answer. By night, I find no rest. This, of course, is David speaking. And he doesn't feel God's presence. He doesn't feel like God is with him in that moment. He feels abandoned. But it's also a prophecy to something much, much bigger. David's experience was a sense of hopelessness and abandonment. It was this feeling of being abandoned that Jesus would experience on a far greater level. As a mama bear, as a parent, we don't want our kids to hurt. We don't want them to hurt emotionally. We don't want them to hurt physically. We don't want them to hurt mentally. We want them to have a wonderful, perfect life, which of course is impossible because of the world we live in. Can you imagine how God felt? He is separated from his son. Jesus has always had the Father as a part of him. Always. Not for 10 years, not for 100 years, not for 400 years. Eternity to this point. Forever to this point. Jesus' daddy was a part of him. And now he's not going to be. And of course, Jesus knew this was going to happen. Our humanity, we know what it's like to be let down. I've let people down. I never intend to. It's never on purpose. But I've done it because I'm human. I've been let down. Probably not because anyone intended to, but because we're human. Jesus was divinely human. He never let anybody down. Not when he was on this earth. We let him down by sinning and mandating that he come down here humbly to this moment that culminates in Matthew 27, verse 46. In my time of depression, I felt like I was separated from God. I think I was separated from God, and that God separated from me. But there were components there, and some of it I think was the enemy that allowed for that separation. Jesus is in the deepest, darkest cavern you could ever imagine when God left him for this time. I don't know how long that was. There's so much conversation about what happened between the death on the cross and the resurrection, and that's a whole story for another day. But his Father did depart from him. And he'd never felt that before. And he didn't deserve it. We deserve it, but he didn't deserve it. But he took it on because he loves us. So Jesus was abandoned to give us the hope that we need and to fulfill the promise of the second covenant that God has made through Jesus. Again, there is no love like that. And if you wonder if you are loved, read Psalm 22 and then jump ahead to Matthew 27. And in 46, he says, about 3 p.m, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? He knows why, but it hurt all the same. Friends, that is love.